Hey guys, so I've had so many people ask about my home buying experience and how I bought my first house at 22. So I thought I would make a video and share my home buying journey, some takeaways, some tips, and some things I did to help me get there. So I started looking for a house when I was maybe 20, 21. I've been in the industry selling real estate since I was about 19. I've always wanted to build my real estate portfolio and a little real estate empire. That's something I've always had ambitions of doing. I've always wanted to own real estate. I thought that was like the American dream, right? So these tips and tricks that I'm going to share with you are tips that I've used for myself with my own home purchase, and also tips that I recommend to clients, but everyone's situation is so unique to them. And just because I bought really young doesn't mean that you have to buy young. Sometimes it's for some people and sometimes it's not, especially because I started working so young. So I had that time to build a career and get that down payment, versus if you went to university or invested in post-secondary, you might not have a down payment to be able to afford it, and that's okay. Everyone buys real estate at their own pace and when they're ready. A tip I always say is never be house broke. So don't put all of your money into real estate. That's something I'll get into a little later as well. And I just hope some of these tips and tricks and hearing about my journey is able to help you in yours and whenever you are looking to buy. So let's get started. I started looking for my first house when I was 21. I didn't buy until I was 22. So that goes to show how long it actually took me to go through the process and find something I actually liked. So before you start shopping, I always recommend make sure you speak with your professionals, being mortgage broker, realtors, so that you get on the right track, the right way the first time around. Because if you start getting all of this information from different people, you get confused as to, okay, what do I do? What should I do? What are people recommending? Find a good team that's gonna work for you. So I reached out to my mortgage broker and said, hey, what am I gonna be approved for? Even if I'm not looking to buy even a year down the line, they'll help you organize everything in terms of mortgage rates, your pre-approval, your credit, your taxes, so that you're in a good position to buy whenever you do decide to buy. For me, it wasn't for 2 years, and I'm glad I had that clarity beforehand, because the last thing you want is to, okay, I want to buy in 3 months, but then you're scrambling to get everything organized and together. So even if you're not looking for a few months or a few years, I would always recommend getting some advice from professionals. It is free for you to work with a mortgage broker and realtors. So why not when you have those professionals and assets at your disposal, right? So I got everything down with my accountant and my mortgage broker so that I'm in the best financial position to purchase. They told me exactly what I needed in terms of down payment, how much it would cost me, my budgeting, and that's so important. Just because you can afford it doesn't mean you should buy it. Like, you have to make sure it fits into your budget. So once I got all the fun part of it out of the way, aka the finances, it's time to do the actual fun stuff, which is the shopping. So I'm thinking, okay, where do I want to live? Downtown, in a suburb, halfway there? Do I want a condo? Do I want a townhouse? Do I want a single house? There's so many options. So where do you start? I always say start with a little chart saying, okay, I must have this. I am okay having this. I would like to, but it's not a deal breaker, and I absolutely do not want this. So have 3 columns. And for instance, say you have a dog that loves running around in the backyard. You might have to say, okay, I absolutely need a fenced yard for my dog. Or you know what? Doesn't matter if it's fenced. I have budgeted that I can put in a fence if need be. So that's something to consider and something to think about, your lifestyle. If you're a young professional, if you're, let's say, a single girl or a single guy and you're busy and you're on the go, maybe you do want that downtown condo with underground heated parking so that you don't have to shop shovel your driveway, and you don't have to dig your car out or mow the lawn because you just simply don't have that time or energy or effort because it's better used elsewhere. But say you grew up in a house in the country and you love mowing the lawn, you love riding a tractor, any of that stuff, maybe you're better buying in Russell or Emblem or Rockland, where you have more land, more bang for your buck. So put together your list of do's, don'ts, maybes, and that way you have more clarity going into what you actually want. Then you would set yourself up on a home search. So for me specifically, I was all over the place, and that's okay, because if you're looking at different homes, different styles, like I was looking at townhomes in Orleans, I was looking at condos downtown, and then you narrow your search. If you are open to different areas, then that way you can take a look at everything and then figure out what you're looking for and what you want. I thought it'd be great to have underground parking because I am busy and I don't want to shovel the snow. So I've looked at so many different homes, from pre-construction to homes in the 70s and 80s. I gotta be off the highway for my job. I wanna be on and off, get to destinations really quickly because I have to show homes all across the city. So that was a big criteria for me. I ultimately found this house in my portal search, my email search, and thought this would be the perfect project. It is a house from the 70s, I believe 78 or 79, and I completely gutted and renovated it. I love to practice what I preach, and because I preach real estate investing and I help clients find flips and I work with developers, I thought I would take the handyman role and renovate my own house to show that if I can do it, you guys can do it. It's not for everyone, but I really wanted to take on this challenge. So I fully renovated this last year. It took about 3 to 4 months. And that is my home buying journey in a nutshell. All right, so here are my secrets, debunked all of my tips and tricks. And how did I really buy my house so young? How did I buy it at 22? That is the question that people have been nonstop asking me. And the reality is, you gotta work hard. There's no shortcuts, there's no tips and tricks other than you actually have to save for the down payment. You need to have a permanent career, or have, if you run your own business, 2 years of stable income, and they average that. And you actually need to have good credit or decent credit, and you need to qualify. It's everything from your credit to debt ratio to get you to qualify for the purchase. And then you actually have to follow through with it. So many people are qualified and they're afraid to make that jump, and then in a year they're like, well, prices increased. But that's the market, prices increase. So one thing I will say, if you're looking to make a purchase, go through the right routes and the right steps the right way the first time, so that you're not stuck scrambling, figuring it out as you go. Get a team of professionals to work with you, your mortgage broker, your real estate agent, your lawyer. Have the right guidance and be patient. Sometimes people try to rush it and try to rush the process. You gotta enjoy the process. The home buying process can be so fun, but you gotta be patient, because sometimes you got to navigate and adjust to the market, and you got to be realistic with what you're looking for. So many people think that their first house is going to be like this dream house, but that's not the case. It's really hard to afford a beautiful penthouse condo downtown or a 4-bedroom home if you're at a starting job and you're just saving for your down payment. You gotta be realistic. And that's when getting your pre-approval in place and having your expectations set from the beginning are important. If you're shooting in the dark and you're just looking at homes without a pre-approval, say you're looking at homes that are 400,000, but you're only approved for 300,000, well, guess what? Once you start searching for homes that are actually in your price point, you're gonna have this idea that homes should look like this $400,000 homes, and you're going to be disappointed by what you can actually buy. Versus if you went through the pre-approval process and you know, okay, I approved for 315, and you're looking for homes that are under 315, it'll be more realistic in your mind than trying to reverse it after the fact. And that's so important. I think it's important to find the right professionals that work with you and for you, that you really vibe with and trust, because it is a big milestone. It's your first home purchase. So you got to make it fun and memorable, and don't stress it. It will come when it comes. Some other things to consider are closing costs. So closing costs include lawyer fees. That's about 1 to 2% of your purchase price. That goes to your lawyer to close on the transaction, make sure there's no liens, encumbrances on the house. And you also got to remember, you got to save for things such as furniture that no one thinks of. Everything from furniture to patio furniture to dishware and cutlery. You want to make sure you have a good cushion to actually live. I rambled on a bit, but I hope these tips and tricks were helpful. Comment down below any questions you have and I will answer them. Chat soon.